This podcast is being sponsored by the Rise Up Project.
Trust the process. Pain is power. All great things take time. I am unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unbreakables podcast, episode 13. I am your host, Jay, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with a family man, entrepreneur, author, speaker, investor, mindset, and personal development coach. He is the CEO of Next Level Experience and the host of the Edge podcast. Please help me welcome Raul Villacis.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you having me on your podcast. It's my pleasure.
No problem. I really appreciate you, especially in the times that we currently are in right now. And it's a true honor. I've been following you for some time, and I love everything that you stand for, everything, from your family to your businesses, your mindset. And I think that it's going to be really important, and the value that you're able to provide today to both of our audiences.
Awesome. Can't wait. Yeah, definitely. Times like this, we just need to come together closer as a community. We need to bring more value and see who else we could help.
Absolutely. So what I like to do with all of my interviews is I always want to start I want to go back, because not everybody is aware of your full story. And I really want to touch on your hardships, your adversities, and your failures, and what led you to success, and most importantly, fulfillment. So if we can start maybe just a little bit of your childhood and your upbringing, and then we'll slowly transition into what led you here today.
Awesome. So I'm originally from Ecuador. I'm an immigrant from Ecuador. My parents came here in the 80s. My mom and my dad, they flew down here to check out, to see, looking for a better opportunity for us. Little did I know that I was going to be with my parents for about 3 years. So I stayed in Ecuador. My grandmother raised me. I stayed with my brother, and my grandfather raised me. So when I was around 11 years old, I came to the New York State area, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey. Actually, we lived in Stamford, Connecticut. My dad worked in New York, and it was a whole different world. So different world as an immigrant trying to fit in, as an immigrant trying to find my place. And I found that, that the main thing as being raised here as an immigrant is the diversity. And I grew up in an environment where, I was probably one out of like 5 kids that spoke Spanish in school. And I, grew up thinking that there was something wrong with me. I grew up thinking that I didn't fit in. I wasn't lucky to be in, growing up in New York, where there was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of minorities. In Connecticut, there wasn't that many minorities in school. So I remember going to school and wondering why I was getting picked on. And it was because I was getting picked on because the kids had to get up a half hour earlier to pick me up, so I could go to school in an ESL class. ESL is English as a second language. So because my house was out of district, now every kid in that bus had to get up a half hour earlier to pick me up. And here I am, I'm in 6th grade. My mom is dressing me up like I'm a what do you call that? Those snowmen, because we never seen winter in Ecuador. We come here in the winter, so I have like 300 pairs of gloves, 300 pairs of pants, 300 sweaters, and I look like a snowman. And
You're
of course, I was
overly
gonna get picked on.
right?
Yeah, of course, I was gonna get picked on. So I was bullied from day one. I mean, every kid saw me like, okay, who the hell is this kid? And I was bullied from day one. But that gave me the strength to actually stand up for myself. That gave me the strength to see that I had to fight for my right to be here in this country. And that actually took and developed that in business, that I realized I was a fighter. I realized that I had to fight for what I wanted, that nothing in my life, came easy. So fast forward in high school, I mean, I wanted to fit in so much that I joined a gang, and I was around different people, and like the whole movie, like I'm it's kind of like Boys in the Hood, like, you know, growing up with all these bad kids. But imagine, like, bad kids in Connecticut. At least I was in New York, right? Bad kids in Connecticut. It's not like the bad kids in New York. But I did have a New York family. I had cousins in New York, so every weekend we used to go to New York, and we hanged around with the wrong crowd and joined a gang. But after I think I was like 18, 19 years old, my dad got diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And that's what changed my life. That's the moment I could really go back to the crucial moment in my life when I had to make a decision of like, who am I becoming? And I think a lot of us who relate as growing up, like we just want to fit in, we just want to do all these crazy things, we just want to be cool, we want to just have our place here in this world. But it's nothing like a catastrophe, like a punch in the face to give you a wake-up call. And that was my first wake-up call. My first wake-up call is realizing that my father was going to die young. Muscular dystrophy means that his muscles were going to get more and more weakened every single day. And the doctor looked at me and he said, you're going to have to take care of your father. You're going to have to, he's going to die young. And I was only 18, I think 17, 18 years old. And I had to translate that to my dad. I had to tell my dad, and that right there kind of created a whole new idea of who I needed to become. I needed to become responsible. I needed to become a leader. I needed to really take care of my family. And that's when I started looking at business. I started to look at what can I do? What can I learn? And I went in sales, and I saw that my skills were more in connecting with people. My skills were more in communication. And that's when I started to fall in love with sales. And that was my first, step into entrepreneurship.
So would you say that, okay, so you knew that at that time the role switched, because usually it's not the kids telling the parents, hey, you know what, you're gonna die young. So that was that. It's unfortunate, but you were headed down a really bad path. And the fact that at 18 years old, that's still pretty young for you to have that breakthrough moment, for you to realize it's not too late. So you ended up getting a job, got into sales. And during that time frame, up until 18, did you have any mentors or anybody that you looked up to?
So the cool thing is that when I started learning in school, I actually had a class that showed us it wasn't even a marketing class. So here was the class. The teacher had a store, and he said, I'm going to show you how to be an entrepreneur. Get behind the counter and sell everything that we have here. So I was a selling class. So in exchange, he'll give us like free product. He goes, so the whole period was us hustling and selling. He had bagels, he had candy, sodas, anything. It was like he was supposed to teach us how to market, but I think that he was just teaching us how to sell. Mm-hmm. So that was my first introduction of the hustle. And then when I went to visit my cousins in New York, I found that in New York, in the Bronx, I could really get cheap material. Like I could get t-shirts that were like $5. I could sell to Connecticut kids for $15, $20. I could get the candy that for cents, and I could sell it here for dollars. So I started going to New York, and every single weekend I used to use my allowance. I used to buy t-shirts, candy, whatever it is that I could get. And I used to sell in school all these products. So then I started migrating to games. I used to flip games. I used to, whatever it is I could find myself on. I used to be in church, hustling games with the church kids. And I got in trouble a couple of times. I got kicked out of church for selling games on church time. So that was the beginning. I didn't have any mentors per se, but I had ideas. I saw the hustle. I was surrounded by people who were kind of like looking at me like, hey, this kid could sell something, or this kid could talk. And now that I'm talking to you about this, I remember like my first introduction to sales or knowing that I was good at communications was when my parents wanted to buy a VCR. I remember going to the store, and because they didn't speak English, they actually asked me to negotiate the VCR for them. So here I am, I'm speaking half broken English and Spanish, and the guy says, you know what, you're a cute kid, I want to give you like $50 off. So I told my parents, listen, I negotiated $50, so I need to keep 25. I need to get half of it. So they're like, okay. So then that was the beginning of like, I'm flipping, I'm the broker here, right? So they started with VCRs. Then my dad asked me to negotiate a car for him because they didn't speak English. I was negotiating cars. So I'm 14, 15 years old, going to the car dealership, negotiating cars for my dad. And eventually, I was actually negotiating my dad's jobs. So my dad used to get fired all the time because he was a hardhead. He was a hothead. But he was such a good worker that there was a high demand for his job. So he used to take me to his job interviews, and he actually used to let me negotiate his salary. So every time I used to negotiate a bonus, a signing bonus, and I used to get half of the signing bonus. So I knew that I had a skill. I had a skill to talk to people, I had a skill in negotiation. So that was the beginning of my business skills.
That's pretty awesome. You were practicing at a really young age without even realizing it, right? So talk to me a little bit about the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know that was a book that really helped pave the way for you. So if you can touch base a little bit on that and your experience with the book, because I know I've doing my research and other interviews that halfway, through the book, you purchased a BMW, and then at the end of it, you're like, holy crap, what did I do? I just spent my money on the wrong things, the wrong investments.
So it was funny because I actually got introduced to a business opportunity through a friend of mine, and I'd never been in a network marketing company before. And I remember they called me. I was like, yeah, we're looking for salespeople. It wasn't salespeople. We're looking for business partners, right? That's the network marketing thing. So yeah, I want to be in business. I like to be in business with people. So I said, well, why don't you come to a meeting that we have in this hotel, and then we'll present you the plan, right? So I remember calling my girlfriend at that time, and I said, babe, I want to go to this business meeting. These guys have an international business. It could be an opportunity for us to be in business together. They told me to bring my partner. Like if I have a girlfriend, to bring her with me. She goes, okay. So we both got dressed up. I had my tie on, and I go into this meeting, and the guy's presenting the vision of being self-employed, the vision of being like self-made. And I was so captivated by that at the end of the meeting, I said, like, okay, what do I have to do to be a part of this? He says, well, you have to start recruiting people. I said, well, I brought my girlfriend here, so she could be my first recruit. She goes, well, bring it on board. And then the main guy said, how long you guys been dating? And I said, like, I think about 2-3 years. He says, well, in here, to make it in business, you have to be committed. You have to be committed. You can't just be half-assed business. So I remember turning around and said, like, will you marry me? Like, I want to marry. Like, I want to be committed. So I was so committed at that moment that I said, I need a wife to roll with me. And so that was the beginning of our relationship. It began as a boyfriend, girlfriend, then it became a business partner. So all of a sudden I said, okay, I want to get married so we could actually build this business together. And that was the beginning of personal development. That was the beginning of an introduction to books and tapes. Back then it was tapes. Mm-hmm. So in one of those meetings, they gave us a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I remember I had a 9-to-5 job, and I was reading this book, and the book talked about real estate. I never thought about real estate before. My parents never owned. I see my dad and my mom bought one piece of property, and that was it. And it was like the hardest thing. And I actually helped them negotiate that property too. And it was like the hardest thing that they were looking for years. Like my parents were looking for years, and they found a property and they bought it. But then my family was trying to buy properties, but it just seemed like such a big deal that I didn't think I could do it. But the book said, buy multifamilies, buy this. So I remember I called the guy who sold my parents a house, and I said, hey, do you think I could buy a property? So he checked my credit. He says, you can't afford it. You have to find co-signers. So I called my brother, I called my cousins, I called my aunt. So between like 10 people, we bought this one investment property. And then we bought one investment property, and then I was painting the property, I was renting it, and all of a sudden somebody offered me $100,000 more for that property within months. And I flipped it, and I made $100,000. And that's when I knew that I could start flipping properties. When I knew that the real estate business, was a moneymaker. So I started flipping properties, and the book automatically says, you have to reinvest. You have to reinvest. But I didn't read that part yet because I wasn't done with the book. So I went into the BMW dealership, and I said, I want to buy this. I want to buy this BMW. Like I want to have a personalized car, and I give them the down payment. And then once I got to the part of the book that says the car is the worst investment you can make in your life because of depreciating value instead of real estate, what appreciates in value. And I said, fuck. So I had to go down and ask him to give me back my money. And BMW, they have a high customer service. So they give me back my money, and I bought another property.
Lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
So in an interview, you talk about once you started making money, the next level was making a difference and creating impact. You talk about as a man, you have to go through the rite of passage. And you state that a midlife crisis is an opportunity to go through the tunnel. Can you elaborate on that?
So I started in business pretty young. I mean, I was hustling, 15, 16, 17, 18. I already knew that college wasn't for me. I already knew that school wasn't for me. I was more focused on making immediate money because of my dad's situation, but then more important, more like finding out what I liked, right? So I had a lot of jobs, a lot of odd different jobs. So once I found real estate, I knew that, okay, this is a game that I could play. This is a game that I feel that I could get into. That the numbers were big, the risk was big, but I was still young. I was 21 years old. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I did, I started putting everybody on, all my friends, all my cousins, my brothers. So I had a team of young people. I was 21 years old, and I had kids at 18, 17 years old working for me in real estate. So I had this young crew of people who wanted to work with me. So I started young, and then after a decade of working and making money, that's when my midlife crisis hit. That's when the tunnel hit. And similar to what's going on right now, and I could relate to what's going on right now, a lot of young kids who started young. I mean, look, 5 years ago, we didn't have the economy the social media presence that we have now. Like if somebody started a business if you were 21 5 years ago, now you're 26, 27 years old, probably it's the first time that you're hitting a recession, the first time that you're getting punched in the face. And right now you think the world is going to end, right? And that's what happened to me. I was 29 years old, and I was making millions of dollars in real estate, and the market crashed. And the market crashed, and it wasn't as the economy didn't like the president didn't step in like he's stepping in right now. Like it wasn't like a 2 week, $2 trillion worth of money in the economy. No, it was even worse than right now. At least the feeling of it was, because imagine if you're in the real estate game, just like right now, everybody is at home, you can't work. That was real estate. Back then, if you had a deal, you couldn't move anything. You couldn't, even if you have clients, they couldn't get lending. Even if they wanted to buy, nobody wanted the money. Banks were going out of business every single day. So the crisis was, especially if you're in the real estate game, was worse than what it is right now, because your income went from making a lot of money to zero. Like $0. And most real estate people were self-employed. So therefore, they couldn't go to an employment agency. We couldn't ask for a bailout. So when I start looking at this, what's happening right now, we had it worse back in the crisis. Now, that was my first punch in the face. That was my first reality check. And one of the things that I did is I started to pretend that I had it all together. I started to pretend that everything was going to be fine. And then I didn't have perspective. I didn't have people around me that could tell me, hey, this, like cash in your money. Because I could have cashed in my money. I could have been okay. But instead, I doubled down. I put bad money after bad money. So it's like putting money to the fire. So I relate to this when I imagine if you pretend that the coronavirus is not real. Imagine if you pretend that nothing is happening. Imagine if you have such a positive attitude right now that you say, hey, everything is going to be fine. And then you go out there and you start partying and you start, doing whatever it is that you're going to do. And then you get sick. And that's when it hurts you. So that moment is when I started to realize that I couldn't. And once I started to run out of money, then I started to get real. And then I started to really but it wasn't until like a year after the market crashed. So now, like if anybody's listening right now, like the one thing I'll tell you is like, don't pretend that this shit is not happening. I'm not saying live on fear. What I'm saying is start acting now, start adapting now. Don't wait for the government to take care of you. Don't wait for the bailout. A lot of people right now, especially today is the deadline, or I guess the beginning of getting the money from the government. Like entrepreneurs are applying for the loan, applying for this. And a lot of people are coming, hey, Raul, I want to get it. So like, don't rely on that shit. You never know. Like the government is never going to make it easy for you. If you're counting on the money, you already lost. Like figure out a way to make money right now. Figure out a way to shift in order for you to not to have to depend on that money. And that's what we're doing now. Like what I believe is that the tunnel is a rite of passage. This right here is a rite of passage to a lot of people. This is what's going to make a difference in the next 12 to 18 months. you're going to see a lot of entrepreneurs that thought they had a good business and they thought they had a great mindset really being called out and now questioning themselves, am I really made for this? Am I really made for this? Because this is the moment that if you're a true entrepreneur and if it's really in your blood, then you have to stick it out. But if it's not in your blood, there's no shame of going to get a job. There's no, I'll tell you right now, so many of the guys that I was in business with, they didn't make it. They didn't make it, but their ego, their pride,
It wouldn't
didn't allow them to actually humble themselves and say, you know what, I need a job or I need to go backwards. So instead, they actually self-sabotage themselves. And because the position was too much for them to actually be humble, they didn't know how to be humble. And I think that's the advantage that we have as immigrants. Like, fuck, I don't give a shit. I'll go back to live in the basement with my family. Like, I don't care. Like, when we came to this country, we had a 2-bedroom townhouse and we had like 11 families, not 11 family members, 11 families living in that 2-bedroom apartment. So I have no problem like going back and staying in starting from scratch. And that's, that's one of the things that I learned. Like, this quarantine for me, I've been with my family. I was sick. I was telling you I was sick the last 2 weeks. Truly is a blessing to be alive. Like, I haven't thought about my business the last 2 weeks. I've been focusing on my health. And I've been really thinking about the priorities. And I'll tell you right now, if you worry about your business right now, like, worry about your health. That's the main thing right now. That this is coronavirus shit is no joke. Like, I'm healthy, I'm strong. I didn't think I was ever gonna get the virus. And then when I got the virus, it was a wake-up call for me. A wake-up call to realize, like, fuck, like, I'm not invincible. I'm not in control. God is in control. So I need to humble myself. And really this time, God humbled me in my health, because then I got sick and my wife got sick. And every single night I will pray and ask God not to get my kids sick. I will pray that, like, my kids will not get the virus. And thank God that they're good. Thank God that, they didn't get it. And I think that as humans right now, this is the best time for us to prioritize our values.
Yes.
To really see what do we value the most, because we've been going 100 miles an hour for such a long time. That is a great time for us to respect the pause and really see, fuck, man, even if we have to downside, it's like, listen, even if you have right now a beautiful car, you can't fucking go outside anyways. So
there's no point.
So there's no point. If you're flashing with your jewelry and everything, you can't go to the clubs right now. So like, so at this point, what really matters is who are the people around you, who are the guys that are going to be quarantined with you, who are the people that are checking with you, because this is what really like got me this 2 weeks. To see how many people really give a fuck and calling me and say, hey, Raul, haven't seen social media. Hey, are you okay? Hey, Raul, like, we haven't talked. Now you start seeing who are the ones closest to you. Now you start seeing who actually gives a shit, because those that are getting in touch with you are the ones who really are in your corner. Not your 1 million friends on social media that are liking your shit or sharing your stuff. Is the 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people that you really could count in the times you get sick, that will drop off groceries for you when you're sick, that will check on you. That's what really like I'm learning in this experience to really appreciate.
Absolutely. And I think that you touch on a really good point, because like you say, if we don't have our health in order, the money, the business, everything around us is irrelevant, because you can't sustain it. No amount of money can keep you healthy. So I think that it's important, and I feel like it's a wake-up call and definitely a perspective to everybody, because for me, in 30 years, I've never been faced with anything like this before. So it allows us to pause, really start to question and change our perspective. And like you said, reevaluate our values and see, like, okay, what do I need to do? How can I change things? How can I make it better? So I appreciate your insight and your perspective on that. And I'm really glad that your family are better and healthy.
Thank you. Thank you. I tell you right now, I coach a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and a lot of these guys, I've been training my clients and preparing my clients for this for the past 12 months. I've been telling them the storm is coming, and I never anticipated a situation like this with the virus. we're due for a correction. I mean, the economy was due for a correction. Nobody expected to become even a pandemic. And that's what's different about this time, because we're not just worried about the correction. If it was a business correction, fuck, right? Like right now, it'd be easy. But because it's a health situation, that's when we have to be careful. We have to really be empathetic. We really have to be out there to serve. That's what I tell my clients. Right now is not the time just to think about money. Right now it's not the time to think, because I have a lot of clients who own businesses. Raul, like, right now, I could listen, right now, take care of your family, stabilize your health, stabilize your family, stabilize your business. That's the first book of order. Stabilize your shit. The second thing is strengthen it. Strengthen your business, strengthen your relationship, strengthen your mindset, strengthen your vision. The moment that you strengthen that, the moment that you have a foundation, then you expand. Then you actually go to the next level, because there are people right now, there's some guys right now that are putting offers on. And listen, if you're selling out of, this is what I tell people, because I've done this before. How you make your money is more important than how much money you make, and the energy that comes behind it is what's going to hunt you. Like right now, I have people like calling me, Raul, can you coach me? Raul, can you, like, this is my last, $1,000. Can I give it to you? Going to coach you? So listen, keep your money. Like, I don't want to take any money with that type of energy. You see, because everything is energy. If you're taking advantage of that, if you actually are a coach or a consultant and you're selling, I'm going to save your business, I'm going to save you, you're taking on that energy, and that energy is fucking heavy. Like that energy, like the moment that you take on that energy, you're going to have to be responsible to save that person. And when that person is not saved, you're going to feel guilty, and it's going to be an exchange of negative energy. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of free content. Like, we're going to do a free webinar next week. I'm going to put, like, every week I'm going to do a free webinar, free training. I'm going to just give. Right now is not the time to sell. Now it's time for us to serve. Like, if you have a product that could sell, like one of my clients, he just got a $3 million order for those masks. I said, great, people need it. Like, you need to fucking sell that shit. You need to double down on that. Like, whatever it is you could help, but don't take advantage of people. Right. That's especially the whole thing. Moment. Don't take advantage of the market. Never take advantage of the people. And that's the main thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands is right now there's going to be so much opportunity. You have to be careful who you associate yourself with, because when the dust settles, I'll tell you right now, this happened in 08 or 09. There was a lot of blood in the market, all right? And a lot of people were losing their houses. And we had a lot of opportunities to buy houses from people and help them, right? Right. We saw a lot of companies with a savior mentality saying, I'm going to help you keep your property. I want to help you stay there. And they actually charge people and give them the wrong information, and now they're in jail. Now all these companies are in jail because they eventually, when the dust settles, they're going to look for those who took advantage of the consumer at the worst case scenario. And that shit is always going to hunt you. So this time is like one of the things that I'm constantly telling my clients to be cautious about is like, man, you gotta serve. You gotta serve. Right now, people are hurting. People are in pain. They need to be inspired. They need to make sure that they know that you're gonna live. You're gonna live through it. Like, even if you get corona, like my wife and I got corona, we're gonna be okay. There's a lot of people dying out there. Thank God that we're gonna be okay. But make sure that you stabilize your business, you stabilize your health first, you stabilize your connection with purpose, with God, with your family. Your business will take care of itself the moment that your mindset is right, your health is right, and your purpose is right. Then you can start expanding on your business.
So in these last couple of weeks, I know you stated that you and your wife were sick. What were some of the things that you did to help stabilize your mindset, help get you to overcome that negativity? Because when you're home and you're just behind those walls, it creeps in. It really creeps in. And then, like you say, you begin to realize what's truly important to you.
So there's two things that, I did. Number one is a journal. I journal a lot, and I started journaling every single day and asking myself the question, why now was the best time for me to get sick?
Damn.
Why now was the best time? So instead of saying, why did this happen to me? Why now is the best time? So instead of telling your mind to look for the victim mentality, listen, I had fucking, I don't know how many degrees of temperature, and it was surreal to see that I didn't have the energy sometimes even to get out from the bed. I didn't have the energy even to take care of my kids. But then at that moment is where I realized that you're not your body. Like even if your body decays, your spirit will continue to grow, right? So then I started really tapping and asking more spiritual questions, connecting. I mean, and actually asking myself, why do I want to live? Why do I want to live? What's the point? Like, so in one of those, I do a lot of meditation, journaling. And then in one of the meditations, I felt like God was asking me, okay, why do you want to live? And why do you want me to spare you? Why do you want me to? And I had to answer him, like, fuck, like, it's true. Like, I wanna fulfill my purpose. I wanna give more. I think there's a lot more for me to give. And I started really like putting down on paper the purpose. And really, if God spare me and give me more time in this earth, what am I gonna do with it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we could do now is start working on the inner work. And I think that's what the opportunity that we have right now. The outer world is fucked right now.
Yeah,
so now we need to take care of the inner world so we can make the outer world a better place.
And it could have been worse. You know, it could have been worse. You see on the news, there's so many people that are dying from this. And the fact that you're able to take the negative and turn it into a positive to serve people. Like, I think that's really commendable. And I really want to show, gratitude to you, because not many people see it in that light. And the fact that you see it now, like, how can I be better? How can I serve others? And it's just, there's not many people like you. And I feel like we all need to come together and help and just serve for a greater purpose than ourselves.
And you just hit in the nail. One of the things that I learned from the Navy SEALs, I did a training with them, and they said, Raul, how a Navy SEAL overcomes that the mindset where they have to go through hell is that they have a mantra, and the mantra is shit could always be worse.
Yes.
Whatever they're going through, like, shit could always be worse. And that was actually my mantra too. Like, every time I was sick, I said, at least I'm alive. It could be worse. It could be worse. So that gave me perspective. Mm-hmm. And that gave me opportunity for me to see that, okay, it doesn't matter how bad things get, like, shit could always be worse.
Absolutely. And I like to say that too, like, even when it goes to like people that have a day job, right? 9 to 5, I'd sometimes catch myself like, damn, like, I got to go to work. But it's one of those things where I had to change my mindset and say, it's not, I have to go to work, but I get to go to work. And this whole thing, it gave everybody a different perspective. Like, we need to be grateful. We have to prepare for times like this, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long the lockdown is going to be for. So I love that. I absolutely do. So what is the difference between warrior mode and the edge?
So one of the things that I teach my clients is that we as an entrepreneur, we all have a warrior mode. Mm-hmm. And as a warrior, we love how to hunt. We love how to go there and kill and find deals and expand. But living as a warrior is not sustainable. Eventually the warrior gets killed. Like in all the movies, the warrior gets killed. The one that lives a legacy is the king. Mm-hmm. So one of the main things that I train myself and my clients is how to switch from the warrior to the king. Mm. How to go from the warrior mentality of being so determined that you want to get to your goal, to the king that knows how to pick his battles. So right now, for example, like, I'm in king mode, thinking, okay, what's my next move? Right. My warrior part of me wants to go there and just start putting all kinds of different projects together. But as a king, we have to strategize. We have to start looking at what the next step is. We can't. Patience is a king's best ally. You have to have patience. You have to know that you're playing the long game. The warrior wants to just win the battle. The king wants to win the war. So when you start looking at the long term, playing the long term game, having patience, anticipating, what the other person is going to do, that's the king mentality. The king mentality knows that he is more is the wisdom that comes from the experiences, the wisdom that comes from like being through this experience before and being knocked down, being punched in the face. The warrior only wants to win, and the king knows when he has to surrender.
Oh, I love that, surrender. So that ties into my next question. Talk to me about the importance of having an unshakable faith, especially in these times. Faith plays a big role in all our lives.
And I'm telling you, like nothing like being sick and being in a situation that to really test your faith. And I was telling my clients, like this past 2 weeks, every aspect of my life have been tested. My mindset, my faith, my relationships, even my business. You know, so part of having unshakable faith is really believing that the light is there at the end of the tunnel. You may not know how to get there. You don't even have to see it. And that's what faith is. You don't have to see the light. You don't have to like know how to get to the light. You don't have to like know the path. All you have to know without a shadow of a doubt that the light is there. And the moment that you believe that the light is there, the moment that you believe that God and the universe are giving you exactly what you need, and that's my mantra every single day. Life is giving me exactly what I need for me to grow. Like this sickness is allowing me to expand. This situation is allowing me to fucking grow. And my question is always like, what can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from this? What's the lesson here? God, what is it that I'm not seeing? So all those questions, all those things the faith has to be shaped. Right now, God is shaping you. He's testing, not even testing you. I just look at it as a coach, right? The ultimate coach. You know, go there, do another run. I don't want to do another run. Do another fucking lap. I don't want to do another lap. Do another lap. Okay, my body's hurting. My legs are hurting. No, just do it again. Do it again, because it's gonna get you stronger. You know, I think that this right now prepare me for what's to come. Like if like right now, I truly believe that God prepared my wife and I, and we're sick for a reason, to prepare ourselves, because there's gonna be more people that are gonna be sick. So now we could relate to them. Now we could see the pain that they're going through. So there has never been a time in your life that you were not guided. There's never been a time in your life when the light wasn't there. All you have to do is believe that you're being guided, and there's a light out there. All we have to do is get out of the fucking way and find it, in order for us to be obedient and lead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what advice can you give someone who feels lost, depressed, and unfulfilled, especially in these moments, whether they lose their job, whether they feel like they're getting evicted, no matter what the case may be? What are some tools, strategies, tips that you can give them in these moments?
So you have to understand one thing. Where is depression come from? Where is anxiety come from? Where is the feeling that you are alone come from? All those thoughts come from your head, right? So the moment that you are depressed, the moment that you have anxiety, that's the moment that your mind is constantly telling you stories. And if you think about it, even right now, when I was sick, all my fear came from of the things that could happen. All my fear came from I wasn't afraid of being sick at that moment, because I'm already sick. I'm already feeling pain. Right. So the fear is not about being sick. The fear is, am I gonna die, right? The fear is my wife's sick, because my wife was already sick. The fear is what if she's like the worst case scenario. So we have to be present that the mind is always gonna go to the worst case scenario. Your brain is programmed to look for the worst case scenario. So you're gonna die, you're gonna be broke, you're gonna be alone, you're gonna be on the street, right? The moment that we are present to it, okay, then we could actually feel it. What we do is we don't want to feel it. No, I'm good. I'm not sick. Oh no. So we deflect it. Or worse, we try to manage it. We try to pretend that it's not there. So one of the things is just feel the anxiety, feel the fear. And in the moment that you don't run away from it, you actually feel it. You close your eyes and you actually tell yourself, you know, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling afraid. Just by you acknowledging, I tell you right now, acknowledging, it just loses its power, because it's the illusion of being disconnected that gives you anxiety. It's the illusion that you don't have, you know, what you want. And in the moment that you acknowledge, it's okay to be afraid. Like every morning you wake up and I was afraid of dying, afraid of my wife dying, and I acknowledge it, and it lost its power. Until I realized, you know, I'm alive. Okay, my wife's alive. Okay, so today we're good. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, but today I'm good. Today I'm gonna find the gift Today I'm not homeless. Today I'm not where my mind wants to take me. So don't allow your mind to take you to the worst case scenario. Bring back your mind to the present moment by feeling those thoughts and emotions. And a mantra you can repeat is, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings, I am not my emotions. I am the awareness of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The moment you realize that you're the awareness of your thoughts, feelings, your emotions, then you could choose to focus on those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, or you could choose to actually focus on thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are actually going to bring you gratitude or bring you a solution.
And I feel that you touched on it. Gratitude is major, like especially in these times. You struggle with whatever anybody goes through, you have to sit in gratitude, and you have to appreciate the good and appreciate the bad. So out of everything, I'm sure in these last couple of weeks, you being home, you've had a lot of time to think, right? Whether it was all the past mistakes, failures, lessons that you've learned, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you can give our young entrepreneurs that are watching?
You're not in control. You're not in control. The illusion of you looking to be in control is what causes suffering. Mm-hmm. And suffering is the illusion that you control your business, mm-hmm. you control your life, you control everything. So if one thing I will give the advice to any young entrepreneur is to learn the art of letting go. Learn the art of surrendering. That is the hardest shit. It's easier said than done. But the moment that you start letting go, and instead of you trying to control the situation, you actually let go of the attachment. And the attachment, I want to have this, the attachment, because if I could go back, there's always something better out there for me than the attachment that I had at that moment. And we have to learn how to trust the process, how to let go of the attachment, how to surrender, and how to humble ourselves to feel the pain if we want to grow. The smartest man in the room is not the one that pretends that he has all this shit together. The smartest man in the room is the one that understands that his weaknesses is the illusion of trying to be in control. The one that could move with the punches, that could move with we could be like the wind, is the one that knows that he's being moved, that he's being shaped. And that's one thing that I learned, is that God and the universe, they're using me, I'm not using them. And that is the biggest shift. You're not, as an entrepreneur, you're not in control of your business. You're in control of the focus that you put in your business, but allowing yourself to detach yourself. You're not your business. Listen, a lot of you are going to lose your business and they're going to be in a crisis. Mm-hmm. But that's not who they are. It's okay to lose your business right now. You will fucking rebuild and come back stronger. Mm-hmm. It's okay to give up right now. You will figure it out how to come back stronger. That's the detachment. I'm not attached to being Raul Villacis. I'm not attached to being an entrepreneur or whatever it is that people see me as. Right. I know that deep in my core, I'm a father, I'm a husband, but most important, I'm the vessel. And all I'm asking is God to guide me and lead me. And all I need to do is get the fuck out of the way, because I know that there's a better version of Raul out there that I'm constantly looking to become. It's who you become in this moment of crisis that's going to shape the destiny.
Absolutely. And I believe that vulnerability, that's strength. Being open and saying, look, like I'm struggling right now, or, trying to claim that you're something on social media despite all this hardship, like vulnerability. And I think that you really touch on a lot of good points. So what are some of your daily rituals and disciplines that you can share with us that have helped you pave the way to success?
100%. A daily ritual is my number one key thing that I teach my clients, and I tell every single person to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I tell my clients is that unless you have a morning reset process, you're going to be reacting to life. Mm. And whatever it is for you, whether it's meditation, whether it's physical exercise, whatever it is, find a time in the mornings that you actually invest in yourself to prepare yourself to go to war. It is crazy to think that we are just waking up and just react to life and you're going to be at a peak performance.
Of course.
We have to really think that the entrepreneur is like the modern day gladiator. You wouldn't go into the arena without your weapons. You wouldn't go to the arena without your armor. You wouldn't go to the arena without a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
But still, people are waking up every morning reacting, and that's what they're doing. And then no wonder they come back bloody. No wonder they come back without a fucking arm. No wonder they come back with, cuts. Why? Because they were not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself ready. Reset. Meditation, prayer, gratitude, feeding your body, getting your mindset clear. It could take anywhere from 15, 20 minutes. It could take to an hour. Whatever it is that you want to do, just take your time. Wake up early. Figure out what works for you in order for you to really get centered. And that's what I teach my clients, is just get grounded. And I have a process that I take them through. And in my book that's coming up in the next couple of months, I'll send you a copy of it. I explain the science behind it. I explain the method behind it. And I never in a million years would have thought that this simple process would be the cornerstone for the stuff that I teach. Because every single client that I coach, they go through that. And one guy that was worth millions of dollars, he was losing his shit recently. And we walk him through the process, and he's like, fuck, okay, I remember now. Like, okay, it was just temporarily. It's like we all go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a programming. It's so crazy how we're programmed that we could go backwards if we're not careful. So for me, the morning ritual allows me to program my mind every single day, program myself every single day, reset and recharge and recommit.
Absolutely. So what would you say what are you currently studying right now that is testing your creativity, especially in these moments, in these times?
There's a book called Stealing Fire, and it talks about the flow state. One of the things that I've been studying really hard the last, I would say 6 months, digging deep, is how to tap into the flow state and how to tap into the consciousness and how to put it all together into execution. Because I've been to a lot of people who teach meditation, and then, we want to meditate our way to wealth. That shit doesn't work. You have to have execution. Absolutely. But at the same time, if you're meditating, but you don't have a purpose or the right consciousness or the right vibration, you could be running around in circles. So it's just that trifecta of having the right purpose, the right consciousness, or the right intention with the calm state and the state of flow and the state of high performance and an execution that you're out there making sure that you're making shit happen every single day. And that's what I think that in order for us to be able to get out of this crisis, we got to be calm, we got to be centered, we got to really see that the best is yet to come and believe it, not just say it. We have to know that we're being guided, that we are raising our level of consciousness, and we also can't be afraid of trying shit. We have to try new things and test it and test it and test it. I see this as the biggest opportunity outside of the coronavirus. I hope that we get healthy in the next 6 months, that this shit is over. But I'm excited. It's like this correction, I've been preparing myself for this correction mentally, physically, with my businesses. I know our business is going to fucking explode in the next 6 months. But I am more concerned right now on health, making sure that my clients are healthy, make sure my family's healthy. Because again, we have a two-part monster here, two-headed monster. We have the economic side, losing jobs, and then we have the health side, people losing lives. So we're gonna make sure that we stay healthy, that we get this under control, and then we'll tackle this motherfucker. And this motherfucker is easier to kill than this other one.
Absolutely. And what you're doing, you're just preparing yourself, and with everything that you're learning and you're taking in, you're pouring out and you're paying it forward, whether it's the people around you, you're coaching your students, everything. So I think that that's really, really important. Can you talk to me about the next level experience?
Yeah, so the next level experience is a boot camp for entrepreneurs. And really what we want to do is we want to, I wouldn't say a shortcut, but more of an intense process. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of programs out there that I've been part of, and there's a lot of stuff out there that is really good. Some of the things that we go through is very deep. So we just had a leadership event a couple of weeks ago, right before the lockdown of the corona in New York. Mm-hmm. And within 2 days, we just fucking went deep. And every single person that was there, every man and woman that came to that event really was able to have the breakthrough. So we focus on having a deeper breakthrough, because I think that right now in this current economy, we need to go deep. We need to stop looking at the superficial level of success and really get deep to the core and ask yourself deeper questions in order for us to grow. So that's why it's the next level. Like once you go through the motivation, once you go through like this stuff, like what's your next level? What's your next level? I believe your next level is a higher level of consciousness. I think the next level is for you to tap into the abundance. I think the next level is for you to really stop getting out of your own fucking way, so you could actually see what you could do when you're not in your head.
I love it. And I've seen those videos, man. It looks pretty intense. And I love what you are doing. And it's only focused on men, correct?
Well, right now, the boot camps are men, but the leadership summit, we actually have men and women.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
we actually looking to scale that. And that's the one that we want to scale, because I want to see the community. It's more important for us to have a community of businessmen, businesswomen that have a higher level of consciousness that want to lead. Like that's the whole purpose, is leading leaders. We want to be around other leaders who want to lead, other people who are not looking to be saved, but that people are looking to impact.
I love that. So everything that you're doing now, how do you intend to leave a legacy?
Through be able to, by impacting other leaders, the legacy is already putting in place. Like every client that I impact, even right now on this podcast, for example, whatever energy we're transmitting is already creating an impact. So my biggest legacy is going to be how many people have actually taken what I talk about and used it. How many men and women are actually living on the edge, are using the next level, are pursuing greatness instead of chasing success. And that's really the legacy. And my kids and my family, like they're my biggest gifts. And as long as I told my little girl the other day, before I got sick, she asked me, Daddy, are you gonna get sick? Can you promise me that you're not gonna get sick? And I looked at her and I said, I can't promise you that. I could promise you that I'm not gonna live in fear. I could promise you that I'm not gonna let whatever's going on right now detain me from being who I am. And even when I was sick, I was most proud of is how my kids showed up, how my kids were able to take care of themselves when their mom and dad couldn't take care of them, how they were able to not complain, but actually step up as leaders. So that's my biggest legacy, is really like the mirror that we have with our kids.
Yes, and I think that's a great you said, it's mirroring. And your kids are always you're the role model to your kids, and we don't realize that at the moment, but it's times like this when you see them step up and you're like, okay, I'm doing good, I'm great as a father, and you're able to see, and it's projected. So I think that's important. So knowing everything that you've gone through in your life, what advice would you give young Raul?
Patience. Just have patience. Like the one thing is trust in the process. Have patience. Don't think that you're not as strong as God is making you. That whatever it is that you're going through right now, you're stronger than what you think. You have time. Don't rush. Just know that you're being guided.
I love that. So can we talk a little bit about your book, your new book that you have coming out?
Yeah, I have a book coming out. It's called The King's Code. The King's Code is a map of what I do, is the journey that I take every single client, and allows them to see that every stage of our lives has a purpose. And that's what I've discovered, is that sometimes we feel lost because we think that we shouldn't be where we are. We feel lost because we shouldn't have this experience. And I'm outline every experience that I've had, and I help the readers see that every single stage is created in order for you to go to the next level. So it's taken me 2 years to write it. I've wrote the book at least 3 times. I scratched the first one, I scratched the second one. This third one, I'm happy with it. I'm still debating also, like, but my team's like, you gotta put it out. Okay, so we're gonna put it out because I'm a perfectionist, but I also have to let go of perfection. That's a part of letting go, of just, giving birth. So that book is coming out in the next couple of months. It should be here this summer, and that's the beginning. It's the beginning. It's gonna be a lot of lives that are going to start seeing that they have purpose. I think the biggest disconnect right now with depression, with anxiety, is that the lack of purpose. When you start reading this book, you realize that shit, like all my life I have been guided. All my life there has been a purpose, and I outline in a way that is easy for you to read and easy for you to relate to it, because it's not just some hypothetical situation. I go example after example of how many times I've been guided, or my clients have been guided, and what we actually learn from the experience.
I cannot wait for that book to check it out. And how can our audience get in contact with you, whether it's social media, YouTube, email?
Like, one of the best things that I'm doing right now, and I'm having a lot of fun with, is I have a text community. And my text community, you could text me at 203-405-9199. That's 203-405-9199. I mean, I'm just so connected with the text community, because you actually could text me and I am the one answering. Oh, awesome. And I send messages, and I send content, and we have videos. And that right now is what I want to have a deeper connection with the people that follow me. You go also to my IG handle. I have Facebook, social media, and Instagram, YouTube. But I think the text community is where I really see the reach and the connection, and you feel that we're connected. I also have a Daily Edge podcast in iTunes and Spotify. I'll send you a daily edge every single day. I've put out for 2.5 years daily content, like 2-3 minute clips every morning. Right after my morning ritual, I record them, so you're gonna get them right away. And that's my way to just continue to put out more good energy out there for people to live on the edge.
And you guys heard it first. I'll leave all the links below. I'll also leave your phone number. That way, anybody listening to our podcast, they can contact you, send you a message. Raul, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you, and I'm excited for this episode and the value that we're both putting out there. And if there's anything that I can do for you, give value, to serve, please do not hesitate.
Thank you. Really, really I appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. You did an amazing job. Keep doing it.